England was supposed to win. Not barely, not nervously, comfortably. The United States was supposed to be the team on the other side of England's victory, a name on the fixture list, a stop on the way to something bigger, a match that football's old order expected to survive. But on June 29, 1950, in Belo Horizonte, Brazil, the scoreboard said something almost nobody was ready to believe. USA 1, England 0. One of football's proudest nations had been beaten by one of the tournament's least expected opponents. But the real mistake was not losing the match. It was believing reputation had already won it. The 1950 World Cup was the first World Cup after a long interruption. The tournament was held in Brazil, and England arrived carrying more than a team sheet. It carried status, it carried history, it carried the confidence of a football power, stepping onto the world stage. England was not inventing that confidence from nothing. This was a team with reason to believe in itself. England had quality players. England had recent results that made the wider football world take notice. They had scored heavily against Portugal. They had beaten Italy convincingly. They were not some fragile side pretending to be important. They were good. And that is what makes the mistake more dangerous. Because overconfidence is not always built on nonsense. Sometimes it is built on evidence that gets stretched too far. Across the field stood the United States, not a football empire, not a feared international giant, not a team most observers expected to reshape the tournament. The American squad was lightly regarded, and later soccer histories often describe it as made up mostly of part-time players. Some had regular jobs away from international football. They were serious footballers, but they were not treated like men standing on the edge of history. To many people, this match looked simple. England was supposed to win. The United States was supposed to lose respectably, if that. That was the assumption, and assumptions are where a wrong move begins. On June 29th, England and the United States met at Estadio Independencia in Belo Horizonte. The setting was far from the familiar grounds where England's reputation had been built. Not London, not Wembley, not a home crowd trained to expect English control. This was Brazil, a World Cup match, a hot afternoon in a tournament where reputation still had to be proven on grass. But expectation travelled well. England had already beaten Chile in the group. The players were known. The system was respected. The belief was clear. England should have too much quality for the United States. That belief was not absurd. It was just unsafe. Because there is a difference between being favoured and being safe. England's mistake was not that it had confidence. The mistake was letting confidence simplify the match before it had been played. The United States entered with almost the opposite burden. There was little pressure, little expectation, little reason for the football world to stare too closely. That can make a team invisible. But invisibility is not the same as weakness. The American players had travelled to Brazil with a job to do. They were not there to decorate England's path. They were not there to confirm the story everyone had already written. They were there to play. And early on, the match still seemed to belong to the expected script. England pressed forward, England attacked, England created danger. The United States had to absorb pressure and survive moments that could have turned the match into the comfortable result everyone expected. But the longer the game stayed level, the stranger it became. Every missed chance made the assumption weaker. Every clearance gave the United States another breath. Every minute without an England goal made the upset feel slightly less improbable. Then, late in the first half, the match broke open. The ball came into the England penalty area. Joe Gatchens, a Haitian-born forward playing for the United States under the eligibility rules of the time, moved toward it. History has tried to retell the contact in different ways. Some accounts emphasize the deflection, others simplify it into a cleaner scoring moment. But the safest truth is the only one that matters. Getjens redirected the ball toward goal. England's goalkeeper could not stop it. The ball went in. The United States led England 1-0. For a moment, the whole match changed shape. England was no longer managing an expected win. England was chasing a public problem, a live problem, a World Cup problem. And that is where reputation becomes fragile, because reputation can walk you into a match. It cannot score the equalizer for you. England still had time. Plenty of it. A favourite can recover from one bad moment. A strange first half can become a normal final score. A single goal can disappear under pressure. So England pushed. Crosses came in. Bodies packed the penalty area. The ball was cleared, then sent back. The United States had to deal with one danger, then another. The upset was not complete when Getjens scored. It had to survive. The United States defended, they blocked, they cleared, they held together under the pressure of a team trying to restore the world everyone had expected to see. Every failed English attack made the score feel less like a mistake and more like a result. Minute by minute, the pressure grew heavier. Not just pressure to score, pressure to restore the hierarchy. England was not only chasing the United States, England was chasing the idea of England. And the United States kept refusing to move out of the way. When the final whistle came, the score was still there. USA 1, England 0. One of the most shocking results in World Cup history had happened without asking permission from reputation. The United States had beaten England in Brazil, and the football world had to deal with a result that looked impossible, only because so many people had assumed the opposite. The aftermath became part of the legend. Later retellings claimed the result was so shocking that people struggled to believe it. Some versions turned that disbelief into the famous story that newspapers thought the score must have been a typo. That story is often repeated. But it has to be handled carefully. Archive evidence complicates the clean version of the myth. The safer truth is already powerful enough. England had been expected to win, and instead, the headline was defeat. The shock did not need a myth. The score was enough, and the result mattered beyond the single match. England did not recover the tournament it expected. It later lost to Spain. Spain advanced from the group. England did not. The United States did not go on to win the World Cup either. This was not a simple underdog movie where one miracle becomes a trophy run. It was one match, one afternoon, one scoreboard. But sometimes, one scoreboard is enough to expose a bad assumption. England's wrong move was not believing it had good players. It did. It was not believing it had history. It did. The wrong move was treating those things as if they could guarantee the future. Because the game does not care what a team is supposed to be. It does not pause for reputation. It does not correct the score because the favourite looks wrong in second place. For one afternoon in Belo Horizonte, England's reputation met a United States team that was supposed to be an afterthought. And the afterthought scored first, then held on, then walked off the field with the result history would remember. The United States did not win the 1950 World Cup. England did not lose because reputation is meaningless. But England did lose because reputation was not enough. That is the lesson hiding inside the score. The danger was not confidence, the danger was certainty. England walked into the match with the comfort of assumption. The United States walked in with 90 minutes still to play, and when the game ended, only one of those things still mattered. The scoreboard remembered, USA 1, England 0. Next time, a luxury airship, a dangerous future, and a disaster waiting in plain sight.